Pete Daley, who will probably be Washington's #1 catcher. And I think that Pete is in a... Pete, let's sit down while we talk about this. Pete's in a good position of giving us some degree of comparison between the Kansas City Athletics, for whom he played last year and who finished 8th, no fault of Pete's, and the prospects for the Senators this year. Pete, how would you roughly compare the ball club here with the ball club you left?
Well, I think we have a pretty good ball club. I think if you talk around, which you probably have, and have talked with several baseball men from other organizations, they feel that we have some pretty good ball players in this draft. I think that bears out in the pitching staff that we have and also the outfield.
Pete, you've caught some of the, most of them, as a matter of fact, all of them, of our pitchers. Fellows like Donovan, Clipstein, Burnside, Sisler, Bennie Daniels, and the rest of the guys. Do they impress you?
Yes, they do. They all throw very good. I think they throw exceptionally well for the number that we have. I've been to several camps before where you might have 20, 25 pitchers, but a lot of them don't throw very good. With these boys here, they all throw very good.
The enthusiasm here is rather extraordinary, isn't it?
It sure is. Of course, we have a good bunch of guys and then exceptionally good men to work for here, as you know, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Pete, we want to welcome you officially and unofficially to Washington, and the best of luck for the whole season.
Fine. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete. Major in at Princeton.
I was a basic engineer, Morris.
Do you plan eventually to pursue a basic engineering profession when you're...
Well, I don't know. It depends on...
I mean, I'm not trying to write off your baseball career.
Depends on how many hitters I can get out.
Pete, what did you major in at Dartmouth?
I majored in sociology, Morris.
And what do you do? Do you do anything of a sociological nature in the off season?
No, I've been working with an investment banking firm in Chicago in my off seasons.
Do you two fellows know when there's ever been a major league club with 2 Ivy League graduates on the roster? Do you, Dave?
Well, this is the team we had last year at Detroit.
Oh, that's right. the Tigers too. I don't mean to be I don't know what to say about this, but when you go to alumni meetings, if you do, among the Ivy League, what do they think of 2 Ivy League fellows in professional sports? I don't think of there any in football.
Oh, it's hard. They sort of look at you and they figure, well, he's 29 years old and still playing with a ball.
Pete, what has been your...
You think that they think that anyway.
Yeah, I feel about the same way. Sometimes you feel like the town idiot. It's a little strange because there aren't too many of them in professional athletics.
This is right-hander Dick Donovan, whom the Senators obtained last December from the Chicago White Sox. Donovan, a one-time mainstay of the White Sox staff, has expressed tremendous confidence in his ability to be a winning pitcher again for the Senators. And obviously, nobody would appreciate that more than manager Mickey Vernon. Dick, come on over here. Something bothers me, not bothers, but I'm curious. A fellow who's been around baseball as long as you have, not that you're an old graybeard, what can a pitching coach suggest to you or tell you here in a camp?
Well, sometimes, Morrie, there are any one or a number of things that you may be doing wrong out there and that you really don't realize. I know
Sid... You never get too old to learn.
Oh, no, you sure don't. It's just like playing golf and talking with a golf professional who can kind of iron out the kinks in your swing. Well, the same thing applies to the pitching and to hitting, too.
Dick, I think it would be a nice touch, and we all hope that it comes true, that on the opening day that Donovan faces his old teammates, the White Sox, before President Kennedy and about 30,000 people in Washington.
Well, Morrie, that's entirely up to Mickey Vernon. I know that I'm acceptable to anything that he may have in mind, and I just hope that I can go on and help this ball club.
Thanks, Dick, and we are certainly going to enjoy watching you pitch at the ballpark this summer, and the best of luck for a lot of years with Washington.
Thank you, Morrie.
Thanks, Dick. I just wanted to ask you quickly, both of you experienced your first year in organized baseball last year. Did you find it as tough as it's supposed to be? Not as tough, but just how? First you, Ron Stillwell.
Well, I found the main difference was in the pitching, and I thought it was tough, like I expected it to be.
As tough as you expected it to be?
Just as tough, yes.
Eddie, what was your experience?
Well, I agree with Ron. I believe it was rough. I think it was a little rougher than I really expected.
Eddie, both of you were in no, you were at Syracuse last year, weren't you, Ron? Tell me briefly, Eddie, some of the trials and tribulations of playing in a Class D league, about bus travel and meal money.
Well, the travel is very rough. You go by buses. The trips are about, 4 or 5 hours long. And the hotel accommodations are not too good.
Not quite luxurious, huh?
No, not quite.
How much meal money did you get a day?
$3, $2.50, $3 a day.
How much weight did you lose playing ball under those conditions?
Down there, I didn't lose any. When I went to Washington, I lost about 5 pounds.
Oh, from our heat?
I don't know what it was, but I lost 5 pounds up there somewhere.
Eddie, where'd they play you, at third base?
Yes, second base. I started in Florida at second base, and I played third base in Washington when I went up there.
Came to camp here last year. There were only 3 of you, as I recall. You and Dutch Dodderer and Gene Green. Now in camp, there's Daley, there's Bob Schmidt, there's Ken Retzer, there's Dalton Renfro, and Harry Bright, who catcher at third baseman. The competition's getting a little thicker each year, isn't it?
It's been like that ever since I started.
So it doesn't shake you up too much.
No, that's what makes good baseball, Morris.
Pete, this new batting stance that you have, the closed stance where your feet are closer together, sort of a right-handed Gene Woodling, how does that help you?
It helped me quite a bit. Last year was a funny thing. I was imitating Gene one day out in batting practice, and I was hitting a monstrous 140, I think. And I was fooling around. Gene said, why don't you stay with it? You can't do any worse. There's only one way to go. So I did stay with it, and whether people realize it or not, I hit 295 for the rest of the season.
About the whole month of September, huh?
It was longer than that. It was a month and a half, 2 months darn near.
Well, obviously, then you're going to stay with it from now on, huh?
Definitely, yeah. I like it very well.
Pete, you're, if anybody can be a veteran of the new Washington Senators, you certainly are one of them. Where do you think the ball club has strengthened, if you think it's strengthened?
I think our infield's strengthened a lot since we picked up Cartier last year. Bobby Johnson come along very well. I think we've definitely strengthened there. Our pitching looks pretty good, and with Piersal in the outfield, we're much stronger also.
Were you at Boston with Piersal at the same time?
I played with Jim about 6 or 7 years.
He's quite a competitor, isn't he?
He sure is, and he's going to definitely help our club. As you know, I mean, we're more of a defensive club than an offensive club. That's shown last year in the number of games we lost by 1 run. And Jimmy's going to be a definite asset to us.
Well, and so will Pete Daley with his new batting stance, we all hope, huh?
I hope so, Morris.
Good, Pete, and good luck, and thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
Mickey, of all the trades and deals and kids you've called up from the other clubs, where do you think the ball club at this stage of the training season looks stronger, perhaps, than it did at 61 this time?
Well, Mo, I think we're going to be a younger ball club than we were last year, and we've strengthened where it's so important down the middle. I think we're going to be much better defensively behind the plate and in center field with Jim Piersal, and also around the middle with Chuck Cartier and Bob Johnson and Ken Hamlin. We'll have Johnson and Cartier from the beginning, which we didn't have last year.
Mickey, of the young guys, I'm talking about the Eddie Brinkmans and the Ron Stillwells and the Roy Heisers and Carl Middledorfs, who is likely, if any of these, to be retained?
Well,
if I left out any, perhaps you can...
one kid you didn't mention was Jim Hannon, a very promising pitcher with a very impressive first-year record last year in the Class D League, and he's been looking very good here. He's throwing very good. He's got a good fastball. Carl Middledorf's got a good live arm, throws hard. Eddie Brinkman and Stillwell, I think, maybe a year or 2 away, and it would be more to their advantage to go out and play every day. Of course, things may develop throughout the exhibition games that may force us to carry one or the other.
Mickey, how does this training camp, this second season of the new Senators, compare or differ with last year's first start in this new venture?
Well, I think we have a better, I say we, the coaches and myself, Mr. Daugherty, we have a better idea of the players, and a lot of them have played now a year together, and I think they know what to expect, and I'm sure that there's just a different feeling here. Of course, it was a good feeling here last spring. Everybody was anxious to show that the other clubs made a mistake in putting them on the list. But this year, I think we'll have the year experience behind us, and fellows like Joe McClain and Bennie Daniels will profit by it and maybe have a better year this year.
Well, I hope that's true for everybody around. Mickey, thanks and good luck not only for the training season, but for all of 62.
Thank you, Mo.
Thanks, Mick.
cherry blossoms bring a lot of joy each spring, and the statue of Abe Lincoln greets your eye. When parades pass in review down Pennsylvania Avenue, everybody lifts their voices to the sky. Country's father who first answered freedom's call. God bless our White House, our Capitol too, and keep ever flying the red, white, and blue.